Hey, Haddy the creator here, popping in to tell you about my game I just completed called Whose Knows. This game was completed in less than 48 hours for the Global Game Jam 2021. The theme of the game is Lost and Found, and I incorporated that into this game by having 5 different characters that have lost an item. And ironically, they've each lost them in their noses. So in order to dig out these lost items, you need to dig out a few of the Boogies first, get some of that out of the way, and then pull out their lost items and move on to the next level. I was able to add in 5 unique characters that you can play through. I got the idea to make this game when I was reviewing the diversifiers. One of the diversifiers was called Smells Like Success, and it required that you made a game that you were able to play with your nose. So I made a game that you can play with your nose. There's 3 different ways to play this game. You can play it on a mobile device and use the touch controls, using your nose to tap the screen. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about, playing with your nose. Then you can play with just your mouse, clicking, or you can use the spacebar.
I could even play with my nose.
And yes, you can click your mouse or tap the spacebar with your nose as well. It's a pretty simple game with a pretty simple mechanic. I put most of my effort into polish and artwork and try to make it have a lot of personality to make it fun that way.
Ew!
I worked alone on this project and was able to throw this together alone, and I did use some different assets for music and sound effects. Gameplay is pretty straightforward. You just interact and you drive the finger upwards and you try to aim it right into a nostril. Get it in the nostril, you get closer to the next level, and if you don't, you get up to 5 misses, and then you gotta start over. Game over. You can't just go on forever. I mean, how many times can you do this in a day? Probably a lot. So yeah, this is my game, Whose Knows. Thank you for checking it out, and feel free to play it. I'll put the link down in the description. I am going to be doing a video here shortly about the process that I went through to make this game, with all of the footage that I took, giving updates on the process and showing the whole procedure from start to finish. So stay tuned for that, and if it sounds interesting to you, then go ahead and subscribe if you're new here. And that's Whose Knows. This is my nose. Got a boogie.